What to do immediately. After a car accident, step-by-step guide. A car accident rarely gives you time to prepare. 1 second, you're watching the road. The next, you may hear the sound of impact. Feel your vehicle stop suddenly and realize that something has gone seriously wrong. Your heart may be racing. You may feel confused. Other drivers may be moving around you. Someone may already be reaching for a phone. In a moment like this, knowing what to do next can make the situation easier to manage. So in this video, we're going to walk through the steps you should consider after a car accident, from the first moments at the scene to the records you may need in the days that follow. This video provides general educational information only. Accident reporting requirements, insurance rules, and legal obligations can vary by state and by situation. Nothing in this video is individualized legal advice. Let's begin with the first priority. Step 1. Check for immediate danger and injuries. Before thinking about insurance, photographs, repairs, or who caused the collision, consider safety. Take a moment to understand what has happened. Are you injured? Are your passengers okay? Does anyone appear to need emergency medical assistance? If there is an immediate medical emergency, contact emergency services as soon as possible. Also pay attention to the environment around the vehicles. A collision may leave cars in active traffic lanes. There could be broken glass, leaking fluids, smoke, damaged electrical equipment, or other hazards. The safest action depends on the circumstances. If remaining where you are creates an immediate danger, getting to a safer location may be necessary when it can be done safely. However, accident scene requirements can vary, so don't assume that every situation should be handled exactly the same way. The important principle is simple. Your first concern should be preventing additional harm. Step 2. Consider contacting law enforcement. Depending on where the accident occurs and how serious it is, state or local law may require an accident to be reported. Even where the circumstances are less serious, law enforcement may sometimes help document what happened, manage traffic, and facilitate the exchange of information. When speaking with an officer, provide accurate information. Explain what you observed. Don't exaggerate. Don't invent details because you feel pressured to provide an immediate explanation. After a stressful event, you may not remember every second perfectly. It's okay to distinguish between what you actually know and what you're uncertain about. If a police report or incident number is created, make a note of how you can obtain it later. That information may become useful when communicating with an insurance company. Step 3. Exchange relevant information. Once immediate safety concerns have been addressed, the people involved will generally need certain information about one another. Depending on applicable requirements and the circumstances, this may include names, contact information, driver's license information, vehicle information, license plate numbers, and insurance details. Use your phone to record the information accurately when appropriate. A photograph of an insurance card or vehicle plate may help avoid a simple transcription error. But don't turn the exchange into an argument. The side of the road is usually not the place to conduct a detailed debate about liability. You may have seen only part of what happened. There may be witnesses, traffic cameras, vehicle data, photographs, or other information that provides additional context later. Collect what you reasonably need and remain calm. Step 4. Document the scene. Once everyone is reasonably safe and if circumstances allow, consider documenting the accident scene. Start with wide photographs. These can show where the vehicles are located in relation to the road, intersection, traffic lanes, signs, and surrounding area. Then take closer photographs of visible vehicle damage. Consider photographing both vehicles, not only your own. If relevant and safe to do so, document traffic signals, road markings, debris, skid marks, weather conditions, construction areas, or anything else that may help explain the scene. A short video can sometimes capture the overall environment more clearly than isolated photographs. Why does this matter? Because an accident scene changes quickly. Vehicles may be moved. Debris gets cleared. Weather changes. Cars are repaired. A photograph taken at the scene can preserve details that may be difficult to reconstruct later. But never put yourself in danger simply to get a better photograph. Safety remains more important than documentation. Step 5. Look for potential witnesses. Imagine two drivers give completely different descriptions of the same collision. One says the traffic light was green. The other says it was red. Now imagine that a pedestrian standing nearby saw the entire event. That person could potentially provide important information. If someone witnessed the collision and is willing to provide contact information, consider recording their name and a reliable way to reach them. Don't pressure someone to give you a particular version of events. Simply identify potential witnesses while everyone is still at the scene. People leave. Businesses close. Drivers continue their journeys. Finding a witness several weeks later may be much more difficult than obtaining basic contact information at the time. Step 6. Pay attention to how you feel. Some injuries are immediately obvious. Others may not feel as significant in the first moments after a collision. Stress and adrenaline can affect how a person experiences pain immediately. After an accident, pay attention to symptoms. If you believe you need medical attention, consider seeking appropriate care. If symptoms appear or worsen later, don't ignore them simply because you initially thought you were fine. This isn't about assuming that every accident caused a serious injury. It's about taking genuine symptoms seriously. Medical care is primarily about your health. Medical records may also document when symptoms were reported, what examinations occurred, and what treatment was recommended. That can create a clearer timeline if questions about an injury arise later. Step 7. Notify the appropriate insurance company. After leaving the accident scene, insurance becomes another important part of the process. Your policy may contain requirements about reporting an accident. Review your policy and contact the appropriate insurer within the applicable time frame. When reporting the collision, provide accurate, factual information. You don't need to turn a basic accident notification into speculation about every possible legal issue. There's a difference between describing what happened and guessing about something you don't know. If you're asked a question and genuinely don't know the answer, don't invent one. Insurance companies may investigate the accident using statements, photographs, repair estimates, police information, witness accounts, and other evidence. Your goal should be accuracy and consistency. Step 8. Understand the insurance coverage involved. Car insurance can become complicated quickly. Different policies may contain different types and amounts of coverage. Depending on the state and policy, issues may involve liability coverage, collision coverage, medical payments coverage, personal injury protection, uninsured motorist coverage, or underinsured motorist coverage. Don't assume that hearing the words "you're covered" tells you everything you need to know. Ask what type of coverage is being discussed. Ask what limits, deductibles, exclusions, or procedures may apply. If another driver appears responsible but has little or no applicable insurance, your own policy may become especially important depending on the coverage you purchased and applicable law. Understanding the policy can help you understand the process. Step 9. Create an accident file. Within the first few days, create one place for everything connected to the collision. It can be a physical folder, a digital folder, or both. Keep copies of accident scene photographs. Save insurance emails. Store repair estimates. Keep medical bills and relevant medical documentation. Save receipts for accident-related expenses. Keep information about towing or transportation expenses. If the accident causes you to miss work, preserve relevant employment or wage documentation. If you receive letters from insurers or other parties, don't throw them away after reading them. Organizing records from the beginning is much easier than trying to reconstruct several months of information later. You can also create a simple timeline. Write down the date of the accident, when it was reported, medical appointments, important conversations, repair developments, and significant correspondence. The goal isn't to create an enormous legal file. It's simply to preserve information while it's still easy to find. Step 10. Be careful with social media. After an accident, you may naturally want to tell friends or family what happened. But remember that information posted publicly can travel far beyond the audience you originally intended. A photograph without context can be misunderstood. A casual comment can be interpreted differently than you expected. A check-in, video, or public discussion about your physical condition may potentially become relevant if an injury claim later becomes disputed. This doesn't mean you need to disappear from the internet. It means you should think carefully before publicly discussing the collision, your injuries, insurance negotiations, or potential litigation, and privacy settings should not automatically be treated as a guarantee that information can never be seen or obtained by anyone else. Step 11. Don't rush into a settlement you don't understand. At some point, an insurance company may discuss money. That can feel like progress. Your car may need repairs. You may have medical expenses. You may simply want the entire experience to be over. But a settlement is more than a number. Depending on the agreement and applicable law, accepting money and signing a release may resolve certain claims and limit what can be pursued later. Before signing something, read it. Understand which claims the agreement covers. Understand what rights, if any, you're being asked to release. If you don't understand a document, don't assume its meaning. For a serious injury, disputed liability, or complicated insurance situation, obtaining advice from a qualified attorney in the relevant jurisdiction may be worth considering before making a decision with significant legal consequences. Step 12. Learn the deadlines that apply to your situation. An accident claim does not necessarily remain open forever. States can impose different statutes of limitations for legal claims. Other requirements or notice periods may also apply in particular circumstances, especially when certain parties or government entities are involved. There is no single internet deadline that safely applies to every accident in every state. The correct deadline can depend on where the collision occurred, who is involved, what type of claim exists, and other facts. That's why learning the rules applicable to your own situation early can matter. Waiting also creates practical problems even before a formal deadline arrives. Evidence can disappear. Video may be overwritten. Witnesses can become harder to find. Memories become less precise. Records can be misplaced. Acting promptly does not necessarily mean filing a lawsuit immediately. It means understanding your options before time takes those options away. A simple checklist after a car accident. So let's put the entire process into a simple sequence. First, address immediate safety and medical concerns. Consider whether emergency services or law enforcement should be contacted. Exchange relevant driver, vehicle, and insurance information. When safe, photograph and document the accident scene. Identify potential witnesses. Pay attention to possible injuries, and obtain appropriate medical care when needed. Review applicable insurance reporting requirements. Understand which insurance coverages may be involved. Organize photographs, bills, receipts, correspondence, and other important records. Be thoughtful about what you post publicly. Read settlement documents carefully before agreeing to anything, and learn about the legal deadlines that apply to your specific jurisdiction and circumstances. A car accident can create a lot of uncertainty. You don't need to solve every insurance or legal question while standing beside a damaged vehicle. Start with safety. Preserve accurate information. Take your health seriously. Stay organized. And when an issue is important enough that you don't understand your rights or obligations, consider obtaining reliable guidance from an appropriate professional. Here at Law IQ, we break down personal injury law, insurance issues, legal rights, and everyday legal questions into clear, understandable information. This video is for general educational purposes only. Laws and insurance requirements vary by jurisdiction and individual circumstances, and this content is not individualized legal advice. If this guide helped you, subscribe to Law IQ for more simple videos about car accident claims, insurance issues, and everyday legal rights. Know the law. Protect your rights.